Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the Screenwriting Step-by-Step Project, episode 189. My name is Glenn Gers, and I come to you every Monday through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to let you look over my shoulder, share my screen as I write a script. This project is just a way to teach a part of screenwriting that I think is under-taught, which is the day-to-day process, the line-by-line, scene-by-scene, working out the problems of the script. Doesn't matter what kind of script it is, every script needs to go into a scene form and be worked through drafts, and I'm just trying to let you see what it's like to go through that process so that when you're facing the blank page, maybe you'll get some tips and tricks that you can say, that's helpful, I can use that. Everybody is different. Every writer has their own process, but maybe some of these things that I've learned in my 25-year career writing for movies and TV can help you. So that's what I'm doing. I urge you to look at my lesson videos. The first 3 sections of this channel have Screenwriting Essentials, Screenwriting Tools, Skills, and Craft, and the process of being the writer. Those are the sections that I urge you to look at. Each one of those thumbnails has a topic. Check them out. They're little 10-minute lessons where I've tried to distill down what I've learned in my career to practical tips, things that you can try to use yourself. That's the point, because everybody has to figure out for themselves what it is. I can't tell you. There's no universal rule. There's no this is the right way to write. There's no this is the right kind of script to write. But whatever script you're doing, you need to figure out how to get those words on the page, because you can't write a great script if you can't write a script. So that is what I am doing, just trying to show you my way, what I've learned, not the only way. You should check out as many ways as possible and then take from each one what you think is useful for you. That's what every writer has to do. The whole name of the game for being an artist is figuring out your own path, making your own way. There is no right way to be an artist. Everybody has to figure out what it is that they can do, what they want to do, what's the best thing to do for them right now. It's an ever-evolving process. Yeah, you should definitely skip ahead. You don't have to watch these in order. You don't have to watch all of them. Seriously. There's 188 of these things already. You do not have to watch all of them. It's not like if you miss one, you'll miss the important step. I'm just trying to drop down some useful things and mainly just show you the work in progress. That's it. The way that you build and rework and figure it out as you go along. So I'm really glad you're here. Thank you. It's great to have you here. What we are doing right now is working on the pitch document. This is I tried to explain it the past couple of days, but basically, I'm writing a pilot script here. And so when you write a pilot script, you need to also formulate what the rest of the series, what the rest of the season and the rest of the series would be like. And you need to write that down so that people can pass it around executive offices and say, sure, we'll give this person tens of millions of dollars. And so the thing you need to do is write something that gives the flavor of the work. There's no proper format for this. There's no right or wrong way to do this. This is a thing that's just been invented recently, and it's only being explored right now in the business. People are figuring out, I don't know what this thing is, but I need to have something that I can say, oh yes, if I'm going to buy a series, this is what I'm buying, because nobody writes the whole series at once. You write the series over the course of years with lots of people's input. So what the people who are paying for it need to know is, what's the vision? What's the story? Who are the characters? Thank you. Yeah, I feel like you can pick up stuff and apply it to your own work. That's the point. There are things that can be learned. So what I've been doing now is just describing the characters and just getting a rough idea here. Okay. So what these are just like brief descriptions of these characters. Hi, Irite. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. All right. I haven't decided this yet. All right. So the next character I need to get, what I'm doing right now is just, this is really important. When you're working, the first thing you need to do is just get something down, get some basic, you don't have to get it right the first time, you just need to get something going. So right now, all I'm doing is getting the main characters. I did the first two, the leads. Now I have to do the two villains because there are two layers of villain. There's an apparent villain and then the revealed villain. So what I need to do is find Xena in these notes. Ah, Xena. Okay. Wow, a lot about her. Okay, boom. Let's copy this. I'll cut it. Cutting it and pasting it up here in my list of characters. And then gonna have to, all right. Well, the first thing is these notes that I've got here, these are notes to myself. So I deliberately made them just sort of like Post-its, just things that I could glance at and say, oh yeah, that's a good thing. But when I'm writing for someone else to read, I need to put it into regular sentence format, not these weird little Post-its. All right, so right now, all I'm doing is just reformatting, honestly. Just reformatting. Boom. So that I could start to turn these bold statements into paragraphs, sentences. Hello, Encore. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for showing up. Cool when I have people I have not talked to before are here. Okay, so these are all my notes on this character. So I'm just making this. I agree. Although I'm not sure how I would handle being more popular. Right now, it's rather comfortable to have a small but devoted following. Hi, Thumper. I get a bunch of emails every day, but if I was getting more emails every day, more comments and things, I'm not sure how I would handle it. So I'm happy with my slow, steady growth. A 20-year-old influencer. You are very welcome. Thank you for showing up. That helps me to do what I am doing. She was a teen influencer. Hi, I write. I write says, I was watching Film Courage and they asked the screenwriter, what are the elements of a good story idea? This is an interesting issue because it is my considered opinion that there is no such thing as a bad idea. Actually, when I finally get done with this step-by-step project, among the live streams I want to do is something I want to call the bad idea challenge, which is I want people to send me what they think of as a criminally bad idea, a painfully bad idea, and let me see if I can work with it to make it a good story. Because my belief is no such thing as a bad idea. There are some ideas that are more or less commercial and acceptable to Hollywood at any moment in time because there are fads and trends and things like that, which they tend to look for, so they're more likely to buy. But what can be bought or sold and what is good are very different values. I do not proclaim that I can tell you what will sell. I do believe that it is pretty much impossible to have a bad idea for a story. It's a question of what you will do with it. So the elements of the story, I mean, there have to be people involved, I think. It would be very difficult to tell a story without characters. And as we all know, I believe that characters have to want something. They don't have to start the story wanting something. They could discover what they want. They can even discover that what they wanted is not what they thought they wanted is not what they actually want. There's a lot of possibilities, but what elements of a good story idea? That's it. Human beings, and frankly, human beings would include rats, robots, any characters. But honestly, I cannot think of a bad idea. The question is, how will you make it work? If you want to tell a story of, I don't know, I literally can't think of a bad idea. So that's the thing that I would say. Start thinking now. If you've got bad ideas, send them to me. Burgundy. Wow, I have not seen Burgundy in a while. It's funny. I was looking at some old comments and I was like, Burgundy. I used to talk to Burgundy a lot. Yeah. How do you write her as a character who's much younger than you? And this is an interesting question. How do you write a character who's distinctly different from yourself? In this case, someone who is of another generation. I am a boomer. Xena is a zoomer. Boomers and zoomers famously do not get along. Ask my kid. Actually, that's not true. I get along good with him. But the idea that Generation Z and baby boomers are constantly critiquing each other is part of this story, because I deliberately tried to have her be of a very different generation than Madeline and Norman, who are more my generation. How do you do it? The same way you do any character, because all characters are different than you. I mean, I wrote a movie about an anorexic woman and an obese woman who become friends. I am neither an anorexic woman or an obese woman. And yet, what was interesting was many people who saw the movie said, I can't believe a man wrote this, because I had no idea a man wrote it. It seemed authentic. I did a movie about a 20-year-old YouTuber who gets stalked, a Fatal Attraction kind of thing. And many people said, wow, I didn't think you were so old when they saw it. So the answer is, what you do when you are trying to create any character is, first of all, start to imagine what you would feel, or what you think is what the character would feel. Put yourself into their shoes, empathize with them in their situation, accessing whatever feelings they have. You also then research. You spend time listening and watching and learning from people who are like that. There's lots of material. The amazing thing about this moment in time, with YouTube, with blogs, with the various social media, you can really get the the language and the tone of all sorts of different people who are, when you spend time watching and listening, when you spend time ideally engaging with, you begin to absorb the language. You'll never get it perfect, but it's actually interesting how much we can mimic others. I think I personally I'm not a good live performance mimic, but I'm a weirdly good writing mimic. I can write if I listen to a style for a while, I can use it. I can take it on. So the answer is I research. I spend, and by research I mean partly, yes, I will read articles about that topic or books about that topic, but also just listen, especially on YouTube and podcasts and things. You can hear, you can get the feeling of the people, and so that's how I would do it. I think that let's take a look at this. Xena, partly, you kind of tune in to what you think someone would say, and you're going to get some of it wrong, but I think that the job of a writer is to imagine, to put yourself into the shoes of every single character, and they're all different than you. I mean, when I had to write a rich engineer who tries to murder his wife, I don't know anything about engineering or murdering. So yeah, that's my main thought. The Happy Turnip is about a turnip who wants to be eaten. The only problem I see is with that idea, because I sense that this is supposed to be a bad idea, is obviously a turnip is not very active. But assuming, likewise, a toy is not very active, and yet Toy Story managed. So we'll assume that the Happy Turnip is going to be an animated movie. And once you do that, this turnip, the question is, wants to be eaten. Well, what's keeping him from being eaten? Is he far away? Where, what are the adventures? Maybe the Happy Turnip wants to be eaten, but he's living in a place where, for some reason, like there's a family with a kid who will not eat turnips. so now we got a whole drama going. All right. Boom, boom, boom. It is a published short story. You see? Cool. Okay, Thumper, beat me to it. The Happy Turnip. Yeah, definitely a short story. You can go into the helplessness of the turnip, the feeling of desperately wanting to be consumed. Hello, Natasha. So yeah, I hope I answered your Burgundy. As I work on this, actually, you might get a sense of it. The main thing is when you're working on a character, their language or style may not be yours. However, you can access their feelings. Feelings are they're not universal. They're universally accessible. So that for me, Xena's character is being driven by a desperation to be famous, to be recognized, to be and what's below that, I think, is a neediness, an insecurity. And I can think about what it would feel like to be, as I think we've all been, but I certainly have been, first of all, hungering to find their place in an industry, in a public sphere, and also just personally, like wanting to create your identity, because that's really what Xena's doing. Deep down, Xena is coming of age. She's trying desperately to create Xena, to figure out who Xena is that she thinks the world will like, and in doing so, she's actually going to alienate people terribly. But I think that she sees other people, as tools or obstacles in her desperate need to create Xena, to create her identity, her character that people will like or love. So that's what I would work on with Xena. Is, it doesn't matter how old you are, the feelings are there. The feelings, it's like, what would it feel like to be so hungry for recognition, for fame, for likes, that I would look at this guy, this George guy, and say, you know, he's not that hard to kill. I can kill him and get something from it. How do you look at someone? And then what I would think is, I would think Xena looks at him and begins to dehumanize him, to think, oh, he's old, he's out of shape, he's unattractive, Xena cares a lot about being attractive. So once you're in that space, then the generational things, the regional things, all the different things that create a character, you can work with those. All right. That's fine. I'm just happy to see you. I'm happy. I'm happy you're still around and still working. Oh look, I got it. Thumper says I got the character. All right, I'm going to briefly talk to CG. What part does music play when you write? It plays the part of playing. Like, it's actually driving me nuts. Usually I have music playing while I work. Because of copyright issues, I cannot do that, and also because you wouldn't be able to hear me as well. But I often have music playing. I try not to listen to music I don't know, because then I start to get interested in it. I like to hear familiar music, but I'm familiar with a lot of music. So as far as you putting music in my work, I try not to do it I try not to use specific music, because I don't have the right to do that. In other words, if I were to say, as I have in some pieces, like, oh, this song plays, you just get screwed when they can't use that song. So therefore, you become dependent on a song to convey an emotion where you really should have the characters and the story convey it. So that's, but I do actually personally listen to music a lot when I am working. The writer said the idea should be relatable, original, meaningful, entertainment, punishing, believable, and life-altering. Fair enough. Yeah, sure. I would not disagree with that. I would say relatable is an iffy thing. Relatable gets right to likable, and I think that we can relate. I mean, I can relate to people who are doing loathsome things. I hate to say it, but like, I'm relating to Xena, who's a murderer in my story. But original, yes, within reason. The truth is, nothing is totally original. What's original is the combination and personality that you are bringing to it. The particular twist on familiar things. Original is a hard thing to come by, and I'm not even sure it entirely exists. Everything develops from something else. Meaningful, yes. Think about the meaning of what you are saying. Entertaining, a matter of definition, but yes. Punishing, sure, to a certain extent. Believable, yes, but like, all these things are... The thing that bothers me about these, actually, is that they are results. I mean, you can try to make it believable, but I guarantee you there's going to be people out there who don't believe it. You can't control whether people believe it or not. You have to make sure that you believe it, and that you can... But does it have to be believable? The truth is, I mean, think about animation and some of the ridiculously unbelievable things that happen in animation that are just fabulous. I don't know. Life-altering, sure. If you're lucky, great. But anyway, my answer is yes. Aspire to everything you can when you have an idea. Push it towards what you are seeking. That's a good line. Push it towards what you are seeking. Hi, Kirby. All right, Natasha. Natasha works so hard and produces so much, and she makes me look bad. But good for you. Wow, Natasha is working. Rachel Waring, hello. Yeah, you see, Burgundy is proving that there is no such thing as a bad idea. A suicidal turnip Yeah, also, this is really cool because the question is, are veggies vegetarian? Because technically they are, but this gets into some really fascinating issues. Um, all right. Also, the thing you might want to do with the turnip story, um, the turnip story, what's interesting is you might want to do essentially like what they did in Inside Out, where you personify things because the turnip is inert. The turnip is just lying there. Um, so like to hear or see the turnip's feelings would be useful. Um, all right. Burgundy also says, by the way, my question is made about lingo and take on life. Yeah. The answer to that is just research, explore. And the more you can explore, and who knows how, it's weird how you pick up stuff. The main thing is to want to spend your time saying, I'm going to go surf on the internet and explore what it looks like to be 20, what it sounds like, what is a room like, what is a school like. I mean, like the school I went to was a little tiny private school in New York City in the 1970s. So school to me, the large public schools in Western states of America are completely inaccessible to me. I have to imagine what that would be like. I believe that with any character, you have to start imagining and you have to start researching, you have to start exploring. What do they like? What do they eat? What is it? What is their community like? What is their lingo like? How do they talk? And the way to do that is read, watch, listen, explore. Okay. How often do you ever access your feelings through music when you're writing? Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, the main way you access your feelings is imagining the characters, imagining the lives of the characters, the situations of the characters, and the problems of the characters. That is the key thing you want to practice getting access to. Saying, what would it feel like to be this person? And try different ones, because the thing is, I believe we all have all feelings in ourselves at all times. In other words, I believe my construction of the soul would be that there is a reservoir, like paint mixing. They're like these tanks of the different colors, and those are the emotions. And there's a lot of different colors. And what's more, they mix and match. So you've got all these tanks, and these tanks are inexhaustible and pure. So the color of passion, the color of envy, the color of rage, these feelings are constantly there in everyone. And they get turned on and turned off, and the little taps come out and they mix and they get in each other's way and stuff. So what I think you need to do is simply find what you choose their feelings and desires and obstacles to be, and then you start to just sort of play it out. Well, what if that? And you have to be able to change it. You have to be able, because especially in screenwriting, somebody will say, oh, I don't like what they feel that way, change it. And if you've committed to they feel envious, and then later you have to say, oh, they feel cocky, how do you do it? You have to put yourself and say, well, how would it be that this person seems confident in this situation where I thought they seem envious? That's it. But the question is to get comfortable with accessing your own pure emotions in the guise of other people's experience. Spend time thinking, what's it like to be? Read the newspaper. One of the great things about journalism is it's gotten more and more human interesty, and they spend time saying, what's it like to live this life? You should just be every day exploring other people's lives, getting your feet into their shoes for 10 minutes at a time. Okay. Thank you, Natasha. Okay, yay, good. All right, let's see. Meanwhile, this is not important right now. Hungry for fame and savvy about media. Has been She has been an aspiring influencer since her tweens. Now, this is an interesting thing I've got to do. I have got to figure out where in the in this proposal do I reveal that Xena is the actual murderer. Actual secret villain of the story. I'm going to put that way up top. The secret villain of the story. All right, that's interesting. Okay. Come here. She crossed she would kill for a deal? Kill for a deal. Not quite sure about that. Over. She murdered her to take over his podcast and solve his murder. There. Coming apart at the seams. Oh, no. All right. Right. Natasha writes about 1960s UK history. And you are indeed a very different person. An upwardly mobile black chick in Memphis. Research, channeling, yes, that's it. Daydreams, mimicking. It's all Welshman in the house. That's nice. Yeah, exactly. The teen influencer is a type. Let's see. Okay. Hello, Pedro. Nice to see you. Welcome. She murdered George in order to take over his podcast and then solve that very same murder with everyone watching. But once she's crossed the line, she needs to kill again to cover up for mistakes. And soon the violence is spiraling and she is coming apart at the seams. Coming of age. 1 L apparently in spiraling. Hi, Larry. I'm very glad you're here. It's very nice of you to drop by and touch base. Hello, welcome. We are just trying to get some some basic raw material of the this pitch document. Indulgent parents, clueless parents. Okay, this is covered in here. Hype. Okay. I hate cross the line. It's so, the thing is, like, in a document like this, sometimes you want to have a cliche, but man, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Cena always plays the confidant. I wonder if people know. Apparently eager, supportive. Okay. Oh yes, definitely. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Yeah. Buzzwords. Okay, this should not be bold. stripped away and the true engine of and her No. She is smart, but she doesn't do it to prove how smart she is. She does it simply because she's frantically afraid that she will not exist if she is not loved, if she is not attended to, does not have attention. It's all about attention. It's all about her persona being known. All about attention. About her identity being known, seen, important. She, not her. Making her identity known. Being seen. Mattering. Okay. Some point someone says she is pre-post-apocalyptic. Okay. Yes, I believe that is very true. Okay. She behaves like a rom-com sidekick. Comically supportive of Okay, that's a good start. I've got some material here that is put into some sense. Why is this indented? I cannot seem to unindent it. Oh, now I can. There we go. Okay. You know, this is a really good line. I don't think it's going to be understandable, but it's something. It's interesting. Okay, let's see. Then the next one is the serial killer. Hold on. Body. Okay. No. She operates in a void. She is completely alone. That's the thing. We only learned some of these things about her in the last couple of episodes. Until then, she's got a secret identity, frankly. Let's get the killer in here. The fourth of the major characters is Deakins. Let me see if I can find Deakins. There we go. Elmore Deakins. All right. There we go. I'm going to cut and paste Deakins. See, the main, we have kind of four main characters because we have a main couple, and then we have a apparent villain, and then we have the actual villain. Okay. So I'm just trying to get all those main characters in here first. Where does her anger come from? Her anger comes from, as I've said here, a feeling of helplessness. Hold on. A feeling of helplessness, unimportance, and abandonment. In other words, she feels just like nobody cares about her. She feels like she can't change anything or do anything. And that's why she wants to be important. That's why she wants to be noticed. And then anything that gets in between her and what she wants, that's when she starts getting ugly. Okay. Let's just turn all of this into body type. Okay. Now, a lot of this is me talking to myself, so all right. 30-year retired years ago. He was a solitary was a solitary, twisted young man who poisoned 11 people. And was known to the FBI as the chemistry set killer. Yes, that was an interesting question. It's a good question. These are good questions. I am glad that you guys are here asking them. Okay. Then he fell in love. And changed. Wanted to kill. He devoted himself to being a simple, quiet, better person. Let's see, 40 years ago. For the last 35 years, he has, but now Zena's murder of George has brought new attention to him. Yes, it is. It's definitely interesting. I suspect it is not communicable in dialogue form. Sometimes you write something that's just too smart to be said. But yeah, no, exactly right. The whole idea I have is that, frankly, this is a part of that question about youth. I am immensely conscious that the world has gone way, way down the tubes since I was a young person. I was a young person at the height of American empire, at the moment when technology and democracy and capitalism were all apparently benefiting everyone. And then there was this terrible tipping point, and we have now started to see the negative effects of all of those things, and the cost of human selfishness. And I am profoundly sorry for anyone who is 20 at this time, because their world is not going to be rising the way mine was. And there's nothing I can do about it on a global scale. But I certainly want to acknowledge that that somebody who is 20 right now is facing a much rougher future, and that they are post-apocalyptic. When you asked about how do I think about writing someone young, one of the things I think about writing is that what do you do when your future is in a chaotic and damaged world, when things are likely not to be better for you than they are right now in the future. And that's one of the things I want to get into. Okay. Will I get into it? No. The series would have to develop. It's not going to, but you plunk down your beginnings in a pilot, and you have a plan for what you would do with them. And that's what I'm doing. Likely everyone will blame it on him. Okay. Deacons must work with the half-assed crew of amateur detectives to solve the crime. Hey, Chaz. Yes, I am good. I am good and things are good. I'm sorry that you're arriving at the end. I am just starting to work out the character descriptions in this pitch document, this proposal. You know what? I'm actually going to retitle it Proposal. Proposal. Okay. Must team up with the crackers. In doing so, he begins an escalating game of cat and mouse in which the hunters, must befriend, he must work with people who might also, how do I describe this? This is important. Was work with people who at any time suddenly turn and start to hunt him as well. And in order to silence them, he may have to hunt them. Okay, eventually I will make sense of that. Okay. Ches started doing character descriptions for your script for the first time, trying to get a crew together and make it. Excellent. Excellent. I am very glad. Keep writing. Yes. The one thing about all DIY and cheap and student films is the one thing you have a lot of control over and doesn't cost you anything is the script and the planning. So therefore, you want to don't scrimp on the script and the planning. Those are the things that will make everything else work in the worst of circumstances. And actually, since we're coming up on the hour, I think I will stop there and just repeat that. For any of you who are interested in DIY film, low-budget film, making your own films, one of the things to remember is you have a great deal of power and control over the script, over the words, over the thoughts, the intentions, and the plan. And the more that you craft your script to be practical to make under your circumstances, the better that the making will work. It is very possible to make your own stuff or to have things done in a low-budget way if you write to play to your strengths and to play to your realities, and if you prepare, make plans, research, study, practice, everything you can do to prepare, because once you actually start, everything goes to hell. And if you've got if you've made a clear plan of what you need most to accomplish, then when everything goes to hell, you'll say, well, I know what I need to get done here. I know what this is about. I know what this moment is about, what this character is about. That is when you can pull off the miracle of low-budget DIY stuff. Okay. I would love to see a scene to your female nemesis and the actual serial killer. Have them. Yes, absolutely. That will happen. Isn't it Kill Bill? Yeah. Yes, Kill Bill. Kill Bill certainly has that. I do not intend it to be like that because I do not quite relish violence the way that Tarantino does. I think that violence is really interesting, but one of the things that I want to do in this story, one of the things I worked on is a story in which the villains are not particularly competent at violence. The serial killer is a poisoner, and he's old. He's in his 70s now. And Xena is a 20-something who is not remotely skilled or strength-wise a killer. And so what how the mechanics of that is going to work is going to be about the terrifyingly inept and helpless reality of ordinary everyday violence. Okay. Good, Ches. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is a nice shirt. This shirt I bought when I was at a film festival in Oklahoma City, the Dead Center Film Festival, which, by the way, for those of you who are going to film festivals, taking things to film festivals, applying to film festivals, Dead Center. Hold on. Let me just write this down for you. The Dead Center Film Festival. Boom. And let me make that bigger. Dead Center Film Festival. Highly recommended. They were really nice to me. It's a great group of people. It's a really cool bunch of creative people. Anyway, I was in Oklahoma, and there was a Western wear store there, and I bought this there. Okay. Yes. Okay. So Pedro, Ches, keep emailing, keep sending. An unambitious rock collector must stop a woman from hitting a cliff with a hammer. Neat. Ches, cool logline. I gotta say that's pretty fun. Okay, so we've been going a while. It is time to sign off for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Go write something.